Alright everybody, welcome to a simple Gimp tutorial on how to create animation slash GIF or GIF files in Gimp. So let's go ahead and start this video off by minimizing this little window here. Alright, so notice that I said this is going to be a simple tutorial. It's not going to be too advanced. I'm just going to show you guys the basics of how to create a simple animation or GIF file in Gimp. So with that in mind, let's go ahead and begin. Alright, so by default when you open Gimp, there's going to be a blank screen here. To basically get this white palette here, I'm going to want to go ahead and go File, New, and you'll get this little Create New Image kind of box, and you're just going to want to choose your kind of image size here. And I already chose the 640 by 400 for mine, so I'm going to go ahead and cancel that. Alright, so what we're going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and create a quick pair of eyes here using the brush tool or paintbrush tool here. Alright, so simple circle over there and another simple circle over here. Alright, and I'm going to do that really quickly just so I can get kind of a little more refined circle. I realize these aren't the best circles that I could draw, but they should do for this tutorial. Alright, so there we go. We have our simple pair of eyes there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a simple animation of these eyes just kind of closing there. And so it makes it look like I guess they're kind of closing or sleeping or drowsy or whatever. So yeah, so at the end of the animation, we'll go ahead and have the eyes just kind of with the eyelids just closing down for both the eyes. Alright, so basically what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and access our layers, which right now we are in our layers tab, as you can see here. There aren't any layers, but really there are, even though it looks like there aren't. We actually do have a first layer. By default, when you open up Gimp, you actually do already start out with a layer. It's just kind of hidden, mostly. So to unhide it, basically, or access it, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and hit this little drop-down menu here. As you can see, there it says Untitled 1. And that is actually our basically our layer that we have opened right now. So I'm going to go ahead and double click that. And there we go. Alright, so as you can see, we have our first layer here, and we can preview it. And with this little eye, we can turn on and off to basically hide it or unhide it. Alright, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and duplicate this layer. But before I do, I just want to go over something really quickly here. Let's say you were creating let's say, I guess, an animation out of photos that you have collected and put on your computer, instead of creating a actual custom animation in Gimp itself. So to do that, if you want to basically create an animation using photos, you would go File and Open. And basically you'd go from there and select the file that you'd want to open, and then it would open up in Gimp. And you'd have to access the layer of it, obviously, and basically go from there. Or you could also go to the image that you want and copy it, and then open up a Gimp, create a new layer, and just paste it in here and go from there. So just a little heads up if you're using photos, but in this case I'm not using photos. I'm just creating a custom animation within Gimp itself. So anyway, just wanted to let you guys know as a little FYI there. Anyway, let's go ahead and continue on with this tutorial. So anyway, as you can see, we already have our first layer here, as I just said, and what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and duplicate this layer. So we're going to go down here to this little duplicate button here, going to click it once. As you can see now, we have our background copy. Which basically by default the layer is named background, and I'm not going to go ahead and bother renaming that because this is just a animation tutorial. But anyway, let's go ahead and click on our background copy layer to show that it is selected. Alright, so next thing we're going to do is, now I don't really need to do this because this is for the most part, a pretty simple kind of a little, I guess, setup here. But if this was, let's say this was a little bit more complicated, of maybe a whole character or something like that. If you were going to animate it within Gimp, A really good thing to do would be to go up here to the opacity slider, and just want to click on here and slide it down. And let me go ahead and click back on here, and let's go ahead and draw maybe like an eyebrow or something. And let's see. Oh, hang on. Okay, there we go. Alright, so let me go ahead and just hide this really quick. There we go. Alright. There we go. So now we have our two eyebrows, and I'll go ahead and unhide this now. And so we can basically see the top layer of our little drawing here, or our eyeballs. And I'm going to go ahead and click on it to basically now be able to edit it. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and grab the opacity slider here. I'm going to click and drag it just a bit to the left here. And as you can see, when I kind of drag it more to the left, we can see more and more of what the layer underneath looks like. And if we could do this for multiple layers as well. But we only have one layer beneath here, so it only shows the one below. So anyway, this could be used for a number of things, whether you want to copy or just do, maybe let's say we wanted to do just a little bit more up there of an animation. So we wanted the eyebrows to move up for some weird reason. But yeah, we could basically use that as kind of a background reference to get it exactly how we want it, instead of kind of trying to trace it from memory. So anyway, I just wanted to show you guys that real quick there. Let's go ahead and turn up the opacity all the way again, because we don't need it down for now. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of those eyebrows. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and just draw kind of the eyelids for these eyes, just drooping down a little bit there. And then I'm just going to go ahead and again copy that and do the same exact thing here. Just going to bring these down just a bit here. And I'm also going to put some white on there and just kind of get rid of these over here. Alright, an easy way to do this is just get rid of the sides, get the paintbrush tool, and kind of paint it in. And of course they use the the brush tool, so I can't totally get rid of it by using the paint tool alone. So yeah. Alright, but anyway, I realize this isn't the the best looking way, or the best way of doing it that makes it look nice, but it works for the tutorial. Alright, so there we go. We have our eyes kind of just drooping down there. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and, let's see. I guess I'll just do one more here. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and, you know what, actually I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this really quick by deleting this layer. And I'm going to go ahead and create a new layer really quick. Alright, so let's say that we wanted to create a, for some reason, we wanted to have a new layer of these eyes just being humongous and just kind of freaking out. So I'm going to go ahead and create a new layer, and let's say, or actually that's probably a bad example. Let's say we wanted kind of like basically a different scene within, basically to animate within Gimp itself for some reason. We wanted to kind of switch away from the eyes and go to maybe like the full character or something. So what we would do is we'd go ahead and, or I would go ahead and create a new layer. There's probably other ways of doing this, but this is pretty much the only way that I use. But anyway, what we're going to do is when we get to this little menu here, everything can stay the same except for this. You can either keep it transparent, or what I like to do is go white, because it basically gives you another white canvas. And with the transparency color, I find it kind of hard to kind of draw and stuff within that, because the transparency is just kind of everywhere and kind of hard to keep track. So I'm just going to go ahead and hit white, hit OK. As you can see, we have a new blank layer. Alright, and I'm going to go ahead and set the opacity down just a bit, and actually, okay, never mind. Alright, so now I'm going to go ahead and from here create the whole character. And, oh, that's why. Okay. Alright, so now I'm going to go ahead and create kind of the whole character here. And I realize this won't be the best version of him, but it should work out fine. Alright, there we go, and let's see. There we go. And I don't know what this is, but it is indeed just a simple little character. Alright, and there we go. So there's our little tired but mad at the same time looking character. So now let's go ahead and play this little animation back, see what it looks like. So to do that, we're going to go to Filters, Animation, and Playback. Alright, so as you can see, we have a play, step, rewind, and detach button. But for now, we're just going to go ahead and hit play. Alright, and there's our little animation. And as you can see, it's going a bit fast, but you can change those in the preferences once we save this animation. So I'm just going to go ahead and hit stop, or, well, play at the same time. And this little 100% thing, I believe, yeah, this changes the speed. So basically, not the whole speed of if you were to actually export this animation, but the preview speed. Alright, so there's a little animation that we have here. Alright, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and export this as a .gif file. And for those of you who don't know, .gif files are basically what you can use for basically signatures on forums or websites, and that's pretty much what those are pretty much meant for. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and go to File, Save As, and I'm just going to name it, let's go ahead and name this Test. Alright, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go just minimize this here. Alright, and we want to select the file type. This is very important, or else you will not get it as a GIF file. Alright, so let's go ahead and select the GIF, hit save. Alright, and what we want to do is another very important thing is we want to go to save as animation. Alright, so we get the actual movement of the animation itself. Alright, and that's all we need to do here. Let's go ahead and go export. Alright, and there we go. And as you can see, we have some simple options here. You can change up the comment, which as it says right now, it's just created with Gimp. You can change this up later, but I'm just going to leave it be for now. Loop forever. You can make it either keep looping and over and over and over, or you can uncheck that to make it just go once, I believe. I don't know. I've never really tinkered around with that, but you can play around with it yourself if you would like to. And this is where you can change the actual speed of the animation itself. So like we were when we were in the preview window and I slowed it down, that was just for the preview window. If you actually wanted to slow it down, basically the speed of the actual animation, you would go through here. And as you can see, the speed is in milliseconds, so just kind of remember that. Alright, and that's pretty much all you need for this, and just go ahead and hit save. And there we go. We have created our first, or maybe first for you, animation slash GIF file or GIF file in Gimp. So I hope this tutorial has helped you, and I hope you found it useful. So until next time, see you later.